Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the amazing Frank Rodriguez. Frank, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm hella excited for
Oh,
this interview, man.
dude, I'm so excited to have you here. But before we talk about why you're here, Frank, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. You are a husband and a father, as well as an avid horror collector. So you decided to take that love of collecting and being into the horror genre into Frank's Media and Reviews, your YouTube channel. You started in January of 2024, and it's all about physical media, the horror genre, reviewing films, putting a bunch of different feathers in the cap. So, what gave you the kick in the ass to finally go, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to start a channel and start doing these type of things.
Good question, Ken. Just leading up to it, I thought about it for a couple of years and just was too scared to take that step. And so, one of my good friends, who's a fellow YouTube content creator, John from Let's Talk Entertainment, basically like my hype man, just like really encouraged me to do it and just go for it. And yeah, and he's helped me a lot during this process and this journey, and it's been just fantastic connecting with people out there in YouTube and content creators that I've watched for a long time, and actually connecting with them has just been a blessing. So it's been a wonderful experience.
Well, and I can't recommend it enough, guys. We were able to connect through social media, really dig what he's doing over there. So you don't have to go far to look for him because I have all of his social media links as well as his YouTube links down in the description. So make sure you're following him on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel because here soon you may see a couple sledges on there talking about some things as well. So, what got you into wanting to do the interview process of? Because obviously, you're doing reviews, you're doing stuff like that, but you do interview other social media influencers, YouTube creators. You interview them about their collections as well. What got you into wanting to learn about other people's collections?
Well, just like anyone else on YouTube, I've watched these content creators for such a long time, and I just thought, why the hell not? Part of it, not gonna lie, is some of our friends over at Our Life in Horror, Sam and Brendan, subscribe to them. I watched their interview with Brendan interviewing Cody, and I've of course seen other people interview Cody as well. But at that moment, when I saw him interviewing Cody, I was like, you know what? I've been doing this YouTube thing for about a couple months because I contacted him in March, and I was totally shocked that he said yes because I was a new content creator. But it's just something that I wanted to do to connect, to get to know these other content creators, because again, I've been watching them for such a long time and they seem very chill and authentic, real individuals. And that's who I kind of gravitate to, are those type of individuals.
Well, you talk about Sam and Brendan, and they are two of my very, very good friends. I love both of them very dearly, and obviously, you push the magic button there with Cody Leach. Everybody knows what that guy means to me. Not only is he an influence on me, he's been an influence on me for a very long time, but I'm so blessed to be able to call that guy a friend. Because he is one of the most real, and you use the best word for it, like genuine. Like he is one of the most real and genuine and kind guys in the horror community, and he would break his back for anybody. So I'm so glad that you got that opportunity. And, seeing Brendan when he got the opportunity to interview him, like it's really cool to watch everybody and what Cody can do for other people just by, hanging out with him for a little bit. That type of influence he has is just so amazing. And, that's why he's one of the best in the business, man. It really is, because he's genuine, he's honest, and he's true about everything. That's why he is the best. So,
Yeah.
but in order for you to, talk about horror and be a horror content creator, horror had to start for you somewhere, Frank. So now, my friend, I would like to go back to the past and talk about what it was that got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Frank, the first horror movie you watched was
The Nightmare on Elm Street, that original, the OG. So that scared the crap out of me, man. I was six. I think it was like 5 or 6, and just living with my dad, and yeah, just of course, there's some iconic scenes that I just remember as a kid that was just very memorable and had nightmare fuel during it. So yeah, it was a great movie, a very strong movie to get into the horror genre. That's for sure.
Well, and I've talked about this in depth before. I think that it could be potentially one of the greatest horror movies of all time. And I think that if you take out the last 5 minutes of this film, when you have, the blow up doll mom getting sucked back in through that front door window and the stupid fucking Freddy car. Like, God, I hate that stupid fucking car so much. If you take that out of this film, I genuinely think this is the greatest horror film ever made. So we know you were quite young watching it with your father for the first time. Was your father there with you, or were you kind of just watching it by yourself at your dad's house?
So I'm an 80s kid, was born in 83. And, I just had this conversation with another friend of mine. If you grew up in the 80s, early 90s, parents were like, whatever. And so
Right.
like, and so that's, I just watched it with my dad. He's the reason why I got into the horror genre. And, it's been awesome ever since. But yeah, I watched it with him. So.
Well, thank you, Papa Rodriguez. We do appreciate it. Um, so and obviously Nightmare on Elm Street, iconic by every definition of the word. It is such an iconic movie. To this day, it still holds up so well. But do you remember the scene that affected you the most?
Hell yeah, I do. The scene that I remember very vividly is the one where Freddy is in the alleyway and his arms are extended, and from side to side, and that girl, I forgot her name, the blonde hair girl is running, for her life, and Freddy is just toying with her like a dog, man, and he's just the evil laugh. There's this, it's so vivid, the imagery for that scene. And of course, there's like multiple scenes. The high school scene with the floating body dragging down the hallway. Of course, like the bathtub, Johnny Depp with his death, like that's very memorable. And so there's a lot of iconic kill scenes just in that one movie alone. And so, yeah, not gonna lie, Ken. Of course, me. I looked up some of your videos and this video series that you're doing, and I've seen a lot of people. This is like one of the popular movies that people like. It's their first horror movie, at least the ones that I can remember. And for me, I think there's a reason why. It's because of those iconic, memorable, scary ass scenes.
And it's funny you say that because I have people that hit me up and they're like, man, my first horror movie was Nightmare on Elm Street, but I know you've talked about that before. Do you want me to switch my answer? And I'm like, no, because I've heard other people tell me their experience. I've never heard your experience with Nightmare on Elm
Mhm,
Street. So I could talk about this movie 250 times and I could get 250 completely different stories. Like,
mhm,
I have a buddy of mine whose first horror movie was Nightmare on Elm Street, and
mhm,
the Jesus Garcia Rod when he gets hanged in the jail cell. After that moment, he
mhm.
would not sleep with sheets on his bed. Like he was like, nope, I'm done. Like that's how bad this movie affected him. It's to the point to where he was like, I will not sleep with sheets on my bed. Like for the longest time, like if you stayed the night at this bro's house, like you had to take your own sheets. Like if I'm gonna be sleeping here, I gotta bring my sheets with me, man, in my backpack because I ain't sleeping on that crusty ass mattress, man. We ain't doing the foot to head with no sheets, bro. It ain't happening. So
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
that's
what
funny.
I love. Like, and he hates horror movies to this day.
Mm,
Fucking hates them. Like, it is not his thing. And I love that we can watch this movie, exact same scenes, and get two completely different feelings out of them. And so
mhm,
it really is a pleasure to learn how this started for everybody. It truly is. That's not lip service. I
mhm.
love this. Before I did this as a podcast, I would do this at parties, sitting by the bonfire, drinking a
Oh,
beer.
wow.
Like, hey, yo, what was the first horror movie you watched, man? Let's talk about it. And when the big C hit, Ashley was like, "You should try this, try a
Mhm,
podcast."
mhm.
Here we are, man. So that's how important it is to me. So,
Well, that's
uh,
good, man.
touched on it a little bit, man. The kills in this movie. Now there aren't many, but each one is so damn memorable. Was
Mhm.
it the Johnny Depp one that stuck with you the most?
Um, no, it was the one in the hallway, just because of me as a kid, just seeing a floating body by itself. No one's touching it. What the hell is happening? Blood is like, just the smearing all over the floor. The body bag that's in, all the blood that's in that bag, and it's just going down the hallway, taking a run. I mean that's so that specifically that was, yeah, just very memorable. And of course, if you're talking about an actual kill, then hell yeah, it's Johnny Depp just dragged up and along the walls on the ceiling. I just recently watched New Nightmare, and
Yeah.
there is this scene almost like verbatim, right? The girl, Julie, I believe is her name, going up from the wall to the top and just dropping down. I mean, it's without the stomach that being ripped open and everything, but like, or like for Johnny Depp, the I'm sorry, the blood gushing out of
Right.
the bed and everything. So
What
yeah.
I love about that New Nightmare scene is Wes Craven was able to do what he couldn't do in Nightmare on Elm Street. Because for as
Mm,
much as we talk about, Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger, Freddy's in Nightmare on Elm Street for less than 8 minutes in the original movie
mm,
because they didn't have the budget to keep putting the makeup on and keep making. That's why whenever you see him, he's in the shadow. Or you think of the Tina kill, you never see him. You see her getting dragged up the wall. The Johnny Depp kill, you never see Freddy. He goes into the waterbed and the blood comes out. The
mm,
in the jail cell, you never see Freddy. You just see, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have the money to be able to do that, but Wes always wanted to. So when they did New Nightmare, you want to play Skin the Cat. You were able to see. Sometimes you see Freddy taking her up the wall, and other times you
mm,
see just her up there. So you have that
mm,
moment of Wes saying, "You know what? I have the money. I can do this now. Let's go back and let's really see how this could look while we have Robert being able to do this." And I think it's brilliant. Like we forget that Nightmare on Elm Street was such a low budget film for the
mm,
time,
yeah,
and they took such a shot on this movie, and it paid off so damn well, like so well. Um, and
yeah.
obviously it paid off because we have how what the 10 sequels now, if you count Freddy vs. Jason, 9 somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Um, of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which one would you say is your favorite of the franchise?
Um, I still think the original is very good. I think it's just kind of cliche, but it really is. And part of it is probably it's cliche for a reason. It's because it's so damn good. But yeah, the original is very good. Three, which I believe is Dream Warriors, is very good. And you know what? I really like two, a lot. I was actually I just did an interview with my friend Chris from Nightmare Collective, and he was stating, he was mentioning how his mom was into horror until she saw Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and that scared her away from the horror genre. So yeah, I mean, because early on in the series, which I prefer, Freddy is menacing. Like he is scary, and there's some dang good parts in Nightmare on Elm Street too. And then of course later on he's more comical, and all that other stuff. But yeah, I prefer my movies to have like pretty serious in tone killers. That's just me.
Well, no, Nightmare 2 has the best moment of the whole Nightmare on Elm Street franchise with the poolside massacre. Like
Oh, good.
when they
Yeah.
get that iconic line,
You are all my children now.
Yeah.
and then like you don't see that. Like it's always Freddy one on one with somebody. You don't
Mm,
ever get to see Freddy with a bunch of different people. So seeing that whole massacre of him right there by the pool, to this day, one of the best scenes in the whole franchise. And it's been talked about numerous times through different podcasts, different YouTube channels, but it's the gay movie. And my thing is like if a couple guy butts make it so you can't like a movie, I think it says a lot more about you than it does about the movie. Just
yeah.
put that out there. Um, that movie's fucking scary, dude. Like Nightmare
Yeah.
2 is Robert Englund at his scariest, in my opinion. Like he is just dark in that movie. So
I love it.
completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, and as always, remakes, requels, sequels, kind of all the rage in Hollywood. They still love doing this stuff. Would you like to? Because we did get, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake back in 2010. Were you a
Mhm.
fan of Nightmare 2010?
To be blunt, no. However, I do think, oh gosh, the actor who played him, who was the Watchman, uh,
Jackie
uh,
Earle
thank you. Yeah, I liked how he played Freddy Krueger. Like, it's kind of like Pennywise, where um, it's the clown. He's supposed to be like attracting kids, and that was like Tim Curry, uh, really trying to get the kids' attention and not be so spooky like Bill Skarsgård was, and which I love. Chapter one, not so much chapter two, but I do like him playing his version of Pennywise, but like Tim Curry for me a little bit, that's kind of like more realistic. Like that's what a killer would do in that situation. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, I got a little lost, man. It's just like,
No, you're
yeah,
fine. No, I agree
yeah,
with you.
yeah,
Jackie Earle Haley did something as Freddy Krueger that Robert Englund could never do, and that's make us hate him.
exactly.
Like
Yeah, you're supposed to hate that individual.
exactly, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to like Freddy. But when Robert, we're like, fuck them kids, they probably deserve it. With Jackie, we're like, ew, man, this guy's gross. Fuck this guy. And I didn't like the movie at first because of that. I started thinking about it, and they're like, damn, that's what he's supposed to do. Like, like he's not supposed to be on Nickelodeon getting slimed. He's a child killer. We're not supposed to
Yeah.
like him. So, but man, Frank, obviously learning about your first horror movie means a lot to me. That's really cool. But I do want to throw you a little bit of a curveball here for a second. My little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Frank? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
My favorite horror movie and favorite villain is Candyman.
Oh,
Candyman to me is a masterpiece. I even like the requel or whatever you would call it back in 2021.
yeah.
I actually just discussed this with Knight from the Night Watch Zone. Is I love the storyline, the many layers within that film that still holds in today's society.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just think the acting is phenomenal. The score in that film by Philip Glass is just simply amazing. The friggin' Tony Todd's voice
Helen. Helen.
is just scary, but yet sexy. You know what I mean? It's like that
Oh
deep
yeah.
ass voice. Like it's almost like a scary, very white voice.
Yeah.
So,
Have you got to
man,
meet Tony?
yeah. Say it again.
Have you got to meet Tony?
No, sir. No.
Oh, dude, if he's at a con somewhere near you sometime soon, take advantage. He is huge. He's huge, but he
Yeah.
is a sweetheart, and he is so well spoken and polite. And I walked up to him, and he's like, "What's your name?" And I said, "My name's Ken, sir." And he said, "You have a great energy, Ken." And I was like, "Oh my god, I can die happy right now." Like that's it. You can close the final chapter on my book because it's been written, and I'm happy. But
That's exactly. He actually recently followed me on Twitter, and I was like, that just made my entire damn year because I not necessarily like looked up to him, but like he's such an iconic. He's one of my favorite actors.
so
The
good.
villains, it's just like, oh my god. So yeah, just a simple gesture like that is just makes a person's, for me, like year. Like yeah,
Absolutely,
awesome.
and he's one of those guys that just like you wish him the utmost success just because of the
Hmm.
kindness that he puts out there to the world. And James and Chelsea from Dead Meat told us a story, and they were talking to Tony, and he was like, "I hope that you do this for as long as you're happy," and that really resonated with them, because
Hmm.
he could have been like, "I hope you do this for the rest of your life," but he literally told them, "I hope that you guys do this for as long as you're happy doing it."
Hmm.
And like I thought that's the most brilliant thing that you could tell somebody. That's better than I hope you have success forever. It doesn't matter if you're not happy. I
Hmm.
hope you do this. And that to me that's ever since they told me that stuck with me too. I hope you do this for as long as you're happy. And um the words of an angel from Tony Todd, man. The guy is just he's such an amazing human being, and
Yeah.
he is. You know, you watch him in because I also really like Farewell to Flesh. I am a
Yeah.
I'm a Farewell to Flesh, not so much Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's a little too wonky for me. But I really like Candyman. I do like Farewell to Flesh. I loved the requel. I thought that it was so beautifully shot, and a lot of like the scene where they're in the high rise and you see him getting swung around up
Oh
there.
my God,
Yeah,
Ken, that
dude,
was so
that's
damn cool.
so
Yeah.
good. So, and I love, even though like we didn't get much Tony in that movie, when you got him, my whole theater erupted. Like the whole theater was just like, yeah, like, and it's hard
Hey,
for me, like, because people ask me, like, what do you feel about this moment of the movie? As a
mhm,
straight white guy, I'm not the guy to talk to about this because I've never had that type of, you know, thing happen to me in my life.
mhm,
Talk to, like, obviously I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to happen to anybody,
mhm,
but I'm not the person to go talk to about that type of thing because it'll be ingenuine of me to be
mhm,
like, oh, the feeling, I don't know that feeling. I mean, thank God, but people do. And that's who you should talk to about those type of moments. If you want to talk to me about the horror elements, for sure, I'll talk to you about the horror elements all day, and I'll tell you how, like, the part that broke my heart is when they're in the backseat of the car and he's like, remember, he came at us, like when he's
mhm.
trying to gaslight his girlfriend in the backseat of the car, and you're just like, you are so fucking disgusting. Like, you are a
Yeah, that cop. Yeah, yeah.
you're worse than Candyman. Like,
Mhm.
I'm
Oh yeah,
rooting for
100%.
Candyman now, man. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Um,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I would love to see, like, I always thought that you could do like they did with the Candyman requel, do like a
mhm,
Netflix or Max series about Freddy Krueger like that, where it's different versions of your nightmare demon. Because
mhm,
not what I think of as the boogeyman might not be what you think of as the boogeyman. So do
mhm,
like how they did like the Dream Warriors or whatever, like the Dreamscapes, and do like a limited series with different types of Freddy Krueger villains throughout the United States or the world. I think that'd be dope, man. Like how there's different Candymen. Yeah, I think that
yeah.
idea is brilliant.
That'd be hella tight. Just to kind of go within that topic, I heard that Creep is trying to do like a TV series within one of the streaming services, and the idea is to each episode is actually one of the tapes, and so
I would love
that
that.
yeah, and so that's
You're getting an
within the same
anthology.
concept. Yeah, exactly. That'd be amazing. Are you kidding me?
Obviously, I'm a fan of anthologies.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
ob-
Creep
it's
show, baby.
obviously my thing. So, um, but seriously, man, I've had a great time talking to you about all these amazing things in the horror world with you. But before I let you go, we always bounce back to the same question. We're going to go back to Nightmare on Elm Street. And what we're going to do is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, Frank, we're not ranking Nightmare on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We are not being critics. All we're doing is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So, zero skulls being not effective, five being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Frank, what would your ranking of Nightmare on Elm Street be?
Well, since I was hella scared and saw very young, and I still thought about it, and still to this damn day, for me, it's a five. I had nightmares. I was very scared of horror in general, and so yeah, to me, it's a five. When I was that young, and holy cow, yeah, I mean, 5 star baby, five
Yeah,
schools.
for sure. And I know I said it at the beginning, guys, but we are at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, all of Frank's social media links, as well as YouTube links, are down in the description. So make sure you're following him on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. He's already done a ton of amazing interviews with amazing content creators, and he's just getting started. He's got way more to go. So you're going to want to be paying attention to that. So hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification. So that way you get all the notifications as they come. So, Frank, please don't go anywhere, my friend. I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.